The top story tonight is that Pete Sampras is through to the semi-finals of the Australian Open after overcoming tears and pain to beat his great friend and his great rival Jim Courier. He fought back from 2 sets down to clinch victory in just under 4 hours. Sampras was seen crying in the final set, worried about his coach Tim Gullickson, who's flown back to America because of illness. And in a press conference after the match, tournament director Paul McNamee said Sampras was too distressed to talk about the matter.
Sampras and Courier know each other's game inside out. As opponents and friends since their earliest tennis days, neither was giving an inch to his rival today. The first set went with serve, but Courier proved mentally tougher in the tiebreak, taking it 7-4. The second set, a copy of the first, Courier again taking the tiebreak, this time 7-3. Then it was Sampras' turn to prove his mental toughness and show he's a worthy champion, coming back to take the third set by 6-3. And in the fourth set, he pulled himself back from 4-2 down to level the scores in sets. But instead of the joy of his friends and family, Sampras appeared distressed, perhaps thinking of his coach Tim Gullickson, who had to fly home through illness. But Sampras came through it to take the fifth and final set and show his true worth as the world's #1. Louise Moran, Sky News.
Well, Sampras now plays Michael Chang in the first semi-final. Chang beat the Ukrainian Andrei Medvedev in straight sets this morning. The women's #4 seed, Mary Pierce, claimed her semi-final place, beating Natalia Zavreva, the #8. Pierce yet to drop a set in the tournament. Her opponent in the semi-final will be the Wimbledon champion and the #2 seed Conchita Martinez, who took 3 sets to beat the 18-year-old American Lindsay Davenport. Well, with me in the studio now is Sky's own tennis commentator Jerry Williams. Jerry, good afternoon to you.
John.
Let's talk about Sampras, as we have to, and it's been described as one of the greatest and I think one of the most moving matches ever.
Yes, I think it was the most moving match I've ever seen in my whole life. In fact, I've been, ever since I saw it, I've been trying to withdraw from the emotion of it and put it in its place. I think it will be seen as one of the epic tennis matches, certainly in modern times.
This is a side of Pete Sampras we've not seen before, and for understandable reasons, because he's in a particular situation at the moment.
Yes, I mean, yes, the situation is that Tim Gullickson, his coach, who's also a very good friend of his, has had 3 minor strokes in about the last 2 months and has just flown back from Australia to Chicago. And I think what happened was, in the emotion of the match, to come back from 2 sets to love down, it just all welled up in Sampras. Somebody told me that a voice shouted out in the 5th set, "Come on, Pete, do this for your coach." And that was the sort of trigger for what happened. I mean, all the fuss and fun people had over Jan and Novotny weeping on a royal shoulder at Wimbledon. I mean, it was... That was nothing compared
But this is different. This is far different, wasn't it?
I mean, it went on through most of the 5th set. He was in tears between points, during points.
How close will he be to Tim Gullickson, his coach? What sort of a relationship
well,
they have?
I just think they're good mates. He's also, Pete's got his fiancée out there, and Tim's wife is usually with them as well. They're just players get very, very close to their coaches. But to me, what's important about it is, it just shows, that people in our profession, we write things about sporting stars without ever knowing what they're really like, and then we draw cartoons and put turnips on their heads, and I think we should be very careful, because often we don't know what's going on in their lives. Sampras, in fact, is the most delightful person, wonderful sport, very charming, modest, but it just showed there that he is also extremely emotional. It's just that hitherto it's been kept in check.
No, the game was one that will be remembered for a long, long time, away from the emotion that we saw often on the court, and some of the tennis that was played with Courier.
Terrific.
It was unbelievable.
It was terrific stuff. An interesting thing, I think, is, yet again, you had 2 of these players of whom people who don't understand say that, their power is just ruining the game. Look at this. The whole match was played...
This is supposed to be tennis without a personality, tennis by 2 machines.
Without a personality, no points, no rallies.
Look at this.
Yes.
Emotion, smiling.
Didn't he deserve it?
Tennis has no problem with power, in my view, except for just 2 or 3 weeks of the year.
Courier apparently called over to Sampras, look, we can finish this tomorrow if you want.
Yes, when it happened, watching, I thought, now, what's he doing here? But knowing Courier as well, as I know Pete Sampras, I came to the conclusion that Courier felt that somehow he had to help Sampras get out of the emotional turmoil he was in. And the best thing to do was, as it were, to make a pal's joke at him, and it worked.
Courier won't have wanted to have lost this, but he won't mind losing it.
Oh, I think he will.
Do you think he will?
Yes, I think he will. It's the end of the world when they lose matches to each
Despite
other.
what went on. I mean, they're old mates and they know each other from the junior tour days.
But the thing that takes players like this above the ruck is their desire. And they have such overwhelming desire to win that when they lose, it is the end of the world.
Jerry, very quickly, can Sampras go on to win it?
I don't know, he's got to come to play another match now against Chang, having in his last 2 matches come back from 2 sets to love down. I would have thought he'd be drained.
Jerry, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Let's move on to the rest of the sport this afternoon, and England's cricketers could be down to just 5 fit batsmen for Thursday's 4th test against Australia in Adelaide. Graham Hick is their latest injury worry. He's due to see a specialist tomorrow about a persistent back problem, and at the moment he's rated as doubtful. The England selectors are trying to track down Chris Lewis as a replacement. He's the only player within reach for them, even though his inclusion would leave them with a batsman short. And England's A-team have easily won their match in Delhi. They beat the Indian Combined Universities by 439 runs, bowling the home side out for 163 this morning. Min Patel, the Kent spinner, took 6 wickets for 35. Well, the champion trainer David Nicholson has been charged with bringing racing into disrepute. It follows the scuffle with the Racing Post photographer Edward Whittaker at Kempton Park on Boxing Day. Nicholson is also to face charges of violent conduct when he appears before the Jockey Club's disciplinary panel. The football now, and more pressing matters for Arsenal manager George Graham in tonight's Premiership football. That comes in the shape of Southampton. Also tonight, it's the Merseyside derby at Anfield, and the long-awaited debut of Leeds' £3.4 million signing Anthony Yeboah against Queen's Park Rangers. Although that could be further delayed because he's now picked up a cold before the game. Newcastle's Belgian international Philippe Albert is out for the rest of the season. He successfully came through a knee operation in Cambridge yesterday, but will be in hospital for the next 5 days, and he doesn't expect to be back in training until the summer. And there's also bad news for some Scottish fans tonight. Partick Thistle's game against Dundee United has been postponed. That's because of a waterlogged pitch. Well, warm weather in Adelboden in Switzerland has forced the cancellation of the last giant slalom before the World Championships. Rain and thick cloud made the slopes impossible to ski today. And although little seems to have stopped Alberto Tomba on the Alpine slopes this season, Tomba's father, Franco, might just change all that. He's promised to do anything, including, he says, standing in front of the starting gate to keep Tomba from competing in the supergiant slaloms. That's the competition he needs to do well in to take skiing's overall title. Tomba Sr. says he won't let his son jeopardise his own safety. And finally, Salt Lake City looks like the favourite to win the Winter Olympics in the year 2002. They were one of 4 cities which were shortlisted today. The other was Osterund, Sion and Quebec. That's the sport. We'll have more for you throughout the evening, though, on Sky News.
Sky Sports presents the Ashes 4th Test, live and exclusive from Adelaide. We've seen some great performances in the series so far. The 2nd Test gave us Warne and his amazing hat-trick.
He's got him! Warne's taken a hat-trick!
While Goff was superb in the 3rd.
Darren Goff is on fire!
The Ashes are lost, but if they fight, England can still draw the series. Live and exclusive, the Ashes 4th Test in association with Ford Mondeo starts Wednesday at midnight on Sky Sports.
It's America's murder trial of the century. The prosecution will argue that for years O.J. Simpson frequently beat his beautiful wife. And in a fit of jealous rage, he stabbed Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman to death. The defense will say O.J. is the victim of police bungling and racial prejudice.
The O.J. Simpson trial. Regular crosses between 5 and 8 p.m. Full coverage between 9:30 and 12:30. Live tonight on Sky News.
The couch.
Right there!
No one can ever be arrested.
Yeah!
What's your excuse?
Yes!
Too tough.
Where?
Too fast.
Oh!
Too cool.
Slam.
Too many points.
I'm done.
Too many dunks.
Yeah!
Too many moves.
Got it!
Too much fun. Too much pressure. Too much time.
Yes!
Okay, you tell me.
Full match coverage only on Sky Sports.
That's correct. There's no excuse. Still not convinced? By the way, I used to play football too.
Tonight, a powerful 4-hour midweek drama comes to Sky One. Over 2 nights, Guns of Honor.
I hear you, rebel scum!
A pistol-packed saga of the ravages of civil war.
Let me go!
the law of the land is in the hands of the fastest gun.
You just cost me 3 good men. Well, I guess they weren't that good.
Martin Sheen, Christopher Atkins, Corbin Burnson.
Ready? Go!
Guns of Honor starts tonight at 8 on Sky One. Coming soon to Sky Movies, Hotshot Topper Harley returns in his most dangerous mission since the last one.
After we wait.
This time the stakes are higher, the passion stronger, the guns bigger. Charlie Sheen, Lloyd Bridges, Richard Crenna, and Rowan Atkinson.
They've tied my shoelaces together.
Hot Shots Part 2, coming soon to Sky Movies.
From the Sky Satellite Network, this is Sky News.
This is Sky Evening News with Laurie Mayer and Heather Scott.
Good evening. The controversial issue of executives' pay dominated the Commons today. The head of British Gas, Cedric Brown, faced a hostile reception from MPs.
It is almost impossible to predict the future, but on Sky News, we've managed to come up with a few tips. A brand new series of Beyond 2000, Saturdays at 6:30 on Sky News. Sky News Weather, sponsored by the Thomson Directory. Right on target. Sky Sports is sticking to snooker. You can count on us over the season to follow the world's best players in the major ranking tournaments, and you can expect more extensive coverage and more entertainment. So tune into the Welsh Open for a class act. The quarterfinals start Thursday at 1 live on Sky Sports. There's only one channel dedicated to extensive live snooker coverage. If you're not a Sky Sports subscriber, call 0506 484 567 and we'll send you a viewing card right away.
Thursday in Manhunter.
And I kept hitting him, bludgeoning him.
I was first abused when I was 5. I wish I could make it stop, but I don't know how. We have no way of proving it.
The Lord works in mysterious ways. Real-life crime stories in Manhunter. Followed at night by Under Suspicion.
Just practically.
Detective Rose Phillips closes in on a serial killer.
You're talking about my wife.
Maybe she knows a lot more than you think, Judge.
Manhunter, Thursday at 8, followed at 9 by Under Suspicion, only on Sky One. A premiere every night in 95.
Gun!
Clint Eastwood in The Line of Fire.
That's my job. I know women.
William Baldwin, Tree of Hearts.
I love you in Wall Street.
Charlie Sheen, Hot Shots Part 2.
I win.
Sharon Stone, Sliver.
He's very, very sick.
And coming soon,
I didn't kill my wife.
Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, The Fugitive.
This room looks like a health hazard.
Tom Cruise, Gene Hackman, The Firm. Sky TV, no turning back. Don't miss out on any of February's premieres on Sky's 3 great movie channels. Call 0506 484 567. That's 0506 484 567 and we'll send you a viewing card right away.
From the Sky Satellite Network, this is Sky News.
This is World News and Business Report with Laurie Mayer and Heather Scott.
Good evening. Also ahead in this hour of World News and Business, rising tide in Germany. Rain and snow threaten further flooding. And 50 years on, the woman they call the Bride of Belsen talks of the Holocaust, which she says should never be forgotten.